Welcome to the latest in our Picks and Ponderings video previews. I'm Paul Major of Picks and Ponderings at Chicago Now. You can find Picks and Ponderings at Chicago Now. Put Picks and Ponderings in the search box at Chicago Now. You can find us on Twitter at Picks Ponderings. Personally, I do some tweets at Hey Laserbeam too. Saturday, December 5th is the opening day of the Gulfstream Winter Championship meet, the beginning of 4 months of the year where Gulfstream becomes the preeminent winter circuit, where simulcast eyes and wallets turn their attention. Opening day is also Claiming Crown Day, a chance for working class horses to get a moment in the sun. And many of them get there, and many of them will get that moment in the sun in this Claiming Crown race. Carded as the 7th on the Saturday afternoon card at Gulfstream. Post time, well, that's what they say it is, about 3:40. The Claiming Crown, not Claiming Clown, Claiming Crown Glass Slipper. It goes at a 1-turn mile. And the reason I thought of saying clown, not crown, is because this is a race where you could very easily be clowned. It is a tough race, and as Claiming Crown races go, this one will scramble your brain and then re-scramble your brain. It is a brain stumping affair. Let's let this video preview help you. There's video previews from Nicole Newlist and myself of other Claiming Crown races. Back to the here and now, the 7th at Gulfstream, the Claiming Crown Glass Slipper, 110,000 in the purse account, a mile on the dirt at Gulfstream, and that's a 1-turn mile. This Claiming Crown race has the same starter conditions as others. 12.5 is the cap, but a lot of these runners come out of 12.5 optional claimers, 12.5 claimers, and even lower than that, down to the 10s, and even claiming races, say like 8 and 7,500. So I'm going to try a runner that comes out of a State Bred Stakes last time. She's lined as the 3-1 morning line favorite, and that's number 6, Aix-en-Provence. Joe Orsino trains and Paco Lopez rides. This one last time was second in a Maryland Million race. Now, the Maryland Million races are restricted races, even though it's a Maryland Million Day. Maryland Million is sort of an equal opportunity state breeding program, and that we'll open it up to the West Virginia breds and the Virginia breds too, or those that have some Maryland sires, maybe close up in the pedigree pages. But Aix-en-Provence qualified for the Maryland Million. A race ran at 7 in the Maryland Million last time and was second. Aix-en-Provence is also a veteran of the Maryland Stakes circuit, chasing around Galliana twice during the spring in the Pre-Benedet and in the Scapat being run on Preakness Day. After some times chasing around Galliana and getting some minor awards on the Maryland female sprint stakes circuit, this one dropped into Allowance Company. Granted, this one went up to Monmouth, ran a clunker, and probably that signaled the fact this one needs some time off, but came back off of a layoff, 2 back at Monmouth to win a twice other than optional claimer. And you could have had this one for 30,000 last time. However, this one had been messing around in 25 claimers and 30 claimers on the Mid-Atlantic in places like Laurel and Monmouth and Pimlico. That makes her the class of the field in this race. I know that sounds a bit ironic to say. I'm second in a Maryland Million Day race. I'm the class of the stakes. But that's how the Claiming Crown works in a sense, in that you get working class, hard-knocking claiming types. This one just happens to be a hard-knocking 30 claimer type and is going up against hard-knocking 10 to 12 to 15 claiming types. It's not a glamorous handicapping angle. It basically says 30 greater than 10. But that's what we're going to use Gulfstream's morning line maker was very smart in thinking that 3-1 is the morning line quote, and we think that Paco Lopez will get Aix-en-Provence home at the one-turn mile. We're slotting second, number 2, Primo Villa. Ever Luis Vaz to ride for Philip Arrowstone. Another that comes from the Mid-Atlantic. This one happens to be Pennsylvania bred. Two back at 2 turns in the Plum Pretty Stakes for PA breds. This one was second, although on the lead for most of it. But Primo Villa turned back to a mile last time at Laurel and ran in a 12.5 starter allowance. Now, there are 2 things that are plus points to Primo Villa's last race. The first is that it came at Laurel going a mile. Laurel, like Gulfstream, runs its 1-mile races at 1 turn. Both tracks have similar configurations. Long runs out of the chute, down a straightaway, and then a turn around, and then a turn. Second is that race was a claiming crown win and you're in race. And Primo Villa qualified for the claiming crown by virtue of getting into that race. And keep in mind, this is a horse that, as late as Thanksgiving last year, was running around in starter 8s at Parks. However, this one's been kicking around on the Pennsylvania State Bred Stakes circuit as well. Before that, had been running it before trying that, had been in some starter allowances. But I like the fact that this one might just be coming into form at the right time and showed some signs of coming into it at a 1-turn mile distance that's very conducive to showing it again here. She's quoted at 5-1 on the morning line, and it's worth noting on these connections. They've gotten together 4 times in the past. They have that 1 win at Laurel we talked about, and 2 more podium finishes. We'll look to number 4, BL's Wagon. Edgar Prado to ride for Larry Pilati as one of the locals in this. This race is full of horses like BL's Wagon. Horses that run in 10,000 or optional 10 or claiming 10 or just all kinds of 10 to 20 claimers. And kind of trade spots with other runners. But this one's got a lot of good 1-turn form. She's also got 3 wins over the Gulfstream's dirt and 5 starts. We probably can excuse her the last race out, a 75,000 stakes where she chased around a good listed stakes horse and Kiss to Remember. While she was beaten 22 lengths after setting some early fractions, keep in mind a quirk with 1-turn miles at Gulfstream. First quarters are slow, second quarters are fast. And that was a very slow 1-turn mile last time when they went 47 and 2 to the half. She tried to set the lead slowed down, and perhaps Edgar Prado may have slowed this one down too much, or was facing competition that was too much above her. That's an open 7. That was an open stakes there. So dropping down from an open stakes to a starter stakes probably is going to make a bit of sense. Although along the way she ran at an optional 12.5, like I'd say about 8 others in this field. However, BL's Wagon makes sense because she's going second off the layoff. She's also going from a sprint to an elongated sprint. Excuse me. Her last start in that optional 12.5 was a 6 furlong race at Crosstown Gulfstream Park West. That's Calder if you're kicking it old school, kids. And keep in mind this one at the 1-turn mile distance showed some really good form last winter and spring at it. Perhaps if she dials back to that winter-spring 1-turn mile form, she can be a player. 7-2 is her morning line quote. So let's recap the Claiming Crown Glass Slipper, the 7th on Gulfstream Park's Saturday, December 5th opening day program, where we like the number 6 Aix-en-Provence at 3-1 on the morning line, over the number 2 Primo Villa at 5-1 on the morning line, and we will slot number 4 BL's Wagon, based on her 1 mile, 1 turn form at 7-2 on the morning line. For the long shot to watch, we're going to go all the way to the end of the page, to the number 13 horse. Hey, I can only go as fast as that scroll button goes. But it's the number 13, Concealed with a Kiss. This is a local entrant who last time was in a, sound familiar, optional 12.5. This time over at Gulfstream Park West and 2 back was actually claimed for 12.5 by the current connections. This one started out in the Eddie Plessa barn and had been running up in New York and had been running in higher level allowances and in higher level claiming races. They even thought well enough to try this 3-year-old very early in the season in the Grade 3 Old Hat Stakes at Gulfstream. But the Old Hat was probably too much too soon, and this one dropped this one fell down through some allowance races, fell down through some claiming races, and finally found her level. It just happened to be where this one was claimed for 25 by Plessa in the summertime, taken to Monmouth, and then dropped down in prices. Yes, you could have had this one for 12.5 last time. Hey, there's your Claiming Crown eligibility right there. But this one's relatively untested over the Gulfstream Park surface. Only one start over it. Excuse me, and that came in the Grade 3 Old Hat. Let's give her a second chance over the Gulfstream dirt. Keep in mind she does have some good 1 mile form over at Crosstown Gulfstream Park West. That may be a 2-turn course over there, but we think that form could transfer well at the 1-turn mile. Diego Gomez will ride this horse, who's quoted at 12 to 1 on the morning line. To recap, the Claiming Crown Glass Slipper, the 7th on Saturday's card. We like the number 6, Aix-en-Provence, quoted at 3 to 1 on the morning line, over the number 2, Primo Via, at 5 to 1 on the morning line. Slotting third, number 4, BL's Wagon at 7 to 2 on the morning line. The long shot to watch will be the number 13, Concealed with a Kiss. She's 12 to 1 on the morning line. Good luck on Claiming Crown Saturday, and good luck from Picks and Ponderings.